This is a brief tropical weather update for Thursday, October 27th from 28storms.com and Hurricane Tracker app. Much like its 2011 predecessors, Rina had more bark than bite because it obviously weakened a lot more than anyone anticipated. It's making landfall to the south of Cozumel, and it's actually beginning to move over the island, but only as a tropical storm with 60-mile-per-hour winds. It's moving off toward the north at 7 miles per hour, but as you can see, it is forecast to loop back around toward the south and meander around much of the western Caribbean over the next 5 days. The latest zoomed-in visible and infrared imagery shows the exposed center beginning to move closer to Cozumel at the very end of the frame, and it does look like we have a blow-up of convection, but it's certainly not anything what it was 24 and 48 hours ago. In fact, if you look at the latest zoomed-in water vapor, you can see that much of that new convection is being enhanced by a lot of strong wind shear, so although the convection is on the temporary increase, this does not bode well for more intensification or organization of the tropical system. The latest map showing oceanic heat content for much of the Caribbean still reveals that the area was primed for a major hurricane landfall, but there was simply just too much dry air and wind shear immediately to the west and north of the system, and now that Rina has made it along the northwest periphery of this favorable upper-level ridge, it is now facing the full brunt of all of the dry air and extreme hostile upper-level wind conditions, and it is likely that Rina will collapse below tropical cyclone status within the next 24 to 48 hours. The latest radar frame out of Cancun, Mexico reveals that the center is now passing over Cozumel, where tropical storm force winds are likely being sustained. However, it looks like the rainfall event associated with Rina is quickly coming to an end, especially considering that the storm is now lopsided with much of the convection occurring to the north of the center. The rest of the tropical Atlantic and eastern Pacific are relatively quiet, although we do have a small pocket of favorable upper-level ridging over the west central and southwest Caribbean, as denoted by the blue and dark blue colors, and you can also see the upper-level ridge fairly well on this graphic, and we do have a minor surface trough over that area, so if there's going to be any areas to watch in the Atlantic over the coming week, it will continue to be the southwest and western Caribbean Sea. Furthermore, the latest 18Z run of the GFS model is also showing somewhat favorable upper-level wind conditions persisting over much of the west and southwest Caribbean throughout the next 6 to 7 days, as you can see here. At the 850 millibar level, we can also see where the GFS is taking what is left of Rina. Here it is beginning near Cozumel, and we will still keep an eye on the remnants of Rina as it continues to meander about over the western Caribbean, especially if that favorable upper-level ridge does decide to expand a little bit back toward the northwest. And also as we go into days 6 and 7, it's beginning to develop a broad area of low pressure to the east of Honduras, so this will also be a second feature possibly worth monitoring. And finally, this is the 12Z run of the ECMWF. It is also worth noting that the ECMWF best portrayed the rapid dissipation of Rina as it neared the Yucatan Peninsula. It was the only model to not only correctly show the forecast track of the system, at least through the first 3 to 5 days, but it also showed again that rather significant weakening. And as we go throughout the next 7 to 10 days, the European, unlike the GFS, is really not showing any disturbed areas of weather across the Atlantic Basin or deep tropics, so that is certainly some good news. So thankfully, it looks as though much of the Yucatan Peninsula has dodged a major hurricane landfall, and that is certainly a great thing to have happen, especially in October, where we routinely have major hurricanes that often do threaten areas of the Caribbean Sea this time of the year. And you know, this really fits the trend that we've seen throughout hurricane season 2011. Usually a lot of these systems began to look a lot more menacing than what they really were. Of course, Irene was a significant landfalling system, but that one could have been a lot worse. And overall, we did expect that this hurricane season would be fairly well above average, and sure enough, we did have a well above normal number of tropical storms, but the number of significant hurricanes, and especially significant landfalling hurricanes, just wasn't quite up to our expectations, and I don't think anyone fully expected the wind shear to really tear apart some of the systems the way things have gone. Hopefully the trend will continue. We're almost done with the hurricane season, but we still can't rule out a couple more threats. So once again, please stay tuned to 28storms.com and the Hurricane Tracker app. Despite the little period of inactivity that looks like we may be moving into, we will still continue to monitor the tropics all the way up until the official end of hurricane season 2011. So that sums up your tropical weather update for this Thursday evening. Please check by again sometime tomorrow afternoon for another video update.